Hello and welcome back to Girl Party on Manic Animation. Previously on Girl Party, after securing rooms at Helmet's Hole in the port town of Hooligan's Port, while a bit drunk, Angel boasted that the party was a band to keep their identity as crusaders from being discovered. Claire used her magic to temporarily shift their weapons to instruments, with illusion. While checking their sound, Sir James began to freestyle, and the whole bar erupted in cheers for their first performance. Now, riding the wave of their success, Girl Party must navigate the rest of their night. Their only obstacles? The Dwarven Whiskey they already drank, and the mercenary leader that wants to kick their asses and take Angel to his bed. This is Chapter 9, Brawl. This was the best night ever. It seemed that damn near the whole tavern was on its feet and cheering when the song ended. That wasn't even supposed to be our song. That was just the damn sound check. I lowered the mic and glanced back at the others. I think they like us, I said, beaming. Somewhere in the chaos of that sound check, we accidentally summoned stage presence.
What's not to like?
Cooed Molly, casually twirling a baton like a roguish drum major. If Helmet's Hold had a parade, Molly would have led it, stealing wallets as she went.
Halia be praised!
Cheered Shayla. Sure. The crowd was finally starting to quiet down. It had been quite an ovation. Tankards were raised, someone threw a hat in the air, and at least one guy looked like he was wiping away a tear. I turned to beam at Angel. She wasn't looking at me. She was turned away, saying something to Claire. Claire gave her a drunken wink. She was holding something in her hand. It was Angel's song. As Angel turned to face the crowd again, I caught Claire glancing my way. Eyes half closed, wearing a half smile with one arched eyebrow. I knew that grin. That was Clarence's wicked grin, the one he used right before launching fireworks indoors or setting a teacher's email to reply all. A confused look crossed my face, but I was tipsy enough to let it slide. Just then, Claire started hitting the first notes on her keytar and dropped purple smoke at her feet. It swirled around her boots like concert fog imported from a wizard's vape shop. Cool effect. I stepped over to grab my guitar just as I heard Angel's voice cut through the haze.
Tune your sword and check your hair. Let's go.
I grinned. Tune your sword, because her guitar was her sword. Cute. Then my attention was fully on her. Everyone's was. Angel was singing.
Daddy said I had to smile, dress up sweet and princess style. I said, nah. Grabbed my blade, booked a boat, and joined the raid.
I was too tipsy to realize it at first. She was telling our story, laying breadcrumbs. She was literally revealing us as crusaders. I think we were all too drunk to notice. Luckily, so was the rest of the tavern.
Ship went down, the storm was rude. Woke up wet, in full crusade mood.
She glanced at me as she sang it. My heart skipped. This had to be a dream.
Searched the beach, and who'd I see? Sir James, sword out, hot as can be.
My brain blue screened. She said that, out loud, with witnesses.
We ride the feedback wave, slaying beasts like we misbehave. Boots and belts, hair on point, rock that fight like we own this joint.
The chorus continued, but I was still stuck. Did she say hot as can be? Me? I suddenly realized Molly and Claire were both backing her now, playing along. I was pretty basic with a guitar, but I tried to listen for a moment, checking if I could jump in with rhythm. I glanced back at Shayla, but she was just glaring toward Angel. Damn. It all suddenly fell into place. One or both of them must have mentioned something about liking me. The idea that Angel might have said something made me feel amazing. The idea that Shayla had too made my skin prickle. Still, it was all kind of flattering. I half realized Angel had just said something about both Claire and Molly, and I started trying to pay more attention to the lyrics. Now she was talking about Shayla. Uh-oh.
Our priestess hums and heals and sighs, but mostly just throws dagger eyes.
Arrows fired. Peripherally, because I was still looking at Angel, I caught a glimpse of Shayla behind me. That line made her look away and suddenly try to add in some bass like nothing had been said. Shayla, or at least Sharon, normally had two moods, sweet and smite. This was somewhere in between, like she wanted to pray for Angel's downfall. It wasn't like her to ignore something. She must have been as buzzed as the rest of us.
It's not my fault if James looks good. I'd flirt too if I could.
Say what now?
He writes songs and sings them sweet, probably dreams in battle beats. Claims he's humble, swears he's shy, still somehow slays, like 20 guys.
I was starting to turn crimson. There was probably some wide-eyed, slack-jawed expression on my face too. She wasn't looking at me, not once, but it was finally starting to dawn on me. This was a freaking love song.
We ride the feedback wave, scream and stab, pretend we're brave. Flashy capes and bigger dreams, we don't rehearse, we just make scenes.
She was amazing, and the chorus was so damn catchy. Even mid-song, I started to overthink it. Was that Angel saying these things, or Angela? She'd written the lyrics in a modern, rhythmic way, just like Angela would. But the details she used, they only fit this place. I shook the thought away. Either way, it felt amazing to hear it. We weren't just performing anymore, this was a confessional, with backup vocals. She was into the last chorus now. Claire was singing backup, and it was beautiful.
Drunk mercs laugh. They all got cocky. James stepped in and made it real rocky.
They weren't laughing now. Almost as soon as she sang the line, their heads turned, all of them, straight at me. Great! Now I was famous and marked for death. She wasn't done.
We ride the feedback wave. Sir James swings and knees get shaved.
The leader narrowed his eyes at me, real slow. What are you doing, Angel?
Stage or fight, it's all the same. I'm a knight with a rock star name. Feedback.
Claire was echoing feedback wave softly in the background. Angel was backing up, pacing off. And then I remembered. She used to be a cheerleader. Oh no, I knew that look. That was the I'm about to do something incredibly cool and possibly illegal look. I scanned the tavern. She was lining up a jump. Her destination? A table. The one just a few feet off the stage. The one surrounded by the mercenary creeps.
Sir James, I'm ready to get saved. Wait, did I say that out loud?
Claire had somehow mic'd her directly with magic. Yes, she said it out loud. Yes, we all heard it. Yes, she was running. She was making the jump. And she stuck the landing right in the center of their table, mid-solo, guitar blazing. If disrespect were a spell, she just cast it at level 10. She literally played it in the merc leader's face. A final, searing guitar solo full of glory and menace. We had won. Then it happened. As the music started to die out, he made his move. I was already watching them like a hawk. I did not like that she was away from us, in the middle of them. He reached out his hand. He grabbed her ankle. She had a boot on, so he wasn't touching her skin. But his intent was clear. He was smiling up at her lecherously. She smiled back down, wickedly. It was the kind of smile that said, "Wrong move, creep." In a flash, her other boot came up and kicked him in the face. His head snapped back, and the rest of him followed. He went stumbling back. But unfortunately, so did she. A little off balance. As he fell backward, one of the others, the smallest, the elf, reached out and grabbed her boot, thinking to knock her off the table. He did. But she changed her angle of fall mid-air. She landed on him. Willfully. She was punching like crazy. It wasn't graceful. It wasn't noble. It was the kind of beatdown you deliver when you're still mid-guitar solo in your soul. Now he was the one trying to drunkenly crawl away. The leader was still recovering, but I saw the big bald one moving around behind Angel. He reached down, trying to lift her smaller frame off his companion so the elf could escape. Oh, hell no! I hurled my guitar like an axe at his back and was already charging down the stage. I fully expected it to bust into 100 pieces when it hit him. A normal guitar would have. But this was not a normal guitar, was it? Unfortunately for him, it had the density of my sword. It thudded into the back of his head, hard enough to make him release Angel and stagger into the table. It sounded like a war gong, made of rock and vengeance. He planted his hands on the table to start rising, but Angel spun around and grabbed him. by the back of the head and his freaking mustache. The table winced. The man squealed. Somewhere, his ancestors probably flinched. Then she crashed his face back down onto the wood. But now the big guy was there. Two of them, really. The shaggy-haired older one helped the elf up, who staggered back. The leader came forward and shoved his bald friend to the side and safety. That guy stumbled, trying to keep balance, and slammed into one of the woodsmen who'd been watching the show, spilling the man's drink on him, which in tavern terms was a legal declaration of war. The mercenary leader reached down and grabbed one of Angel's pigtails. I was already in the air. I'd never been in a real tavern fight. Lucky for me, I'd made my character proficient in bar fighting. It was about to pay off. On instinct, I pushed off the edge of the stage with my foot. I launched like a catapult rock and slammed into the merc's back. My inner bard was screaming, "Dive!" and my stats agreed. We both went down on the table. I rolled off and my legs dangling off the other side. He let go of Angel. I started to sit up, but he grabbed my shoulder and yanked me back. Then, just as suddenly, he let go. Angel had leapt onto his back. She was slamming his head into the table. "Is this what you wanted? Was this where you wanted to be?" she was yelling, straddling his back, pulverizing his face into the table by his ears. Angel seemed to have two settings, Sunshine and Final Boss. Guess which one this was. I didn't get to watch for long. Another merc, this one with a red cloak, yanked me off the table. All around us, the tavern had exploded into a fight. Tables were flipping, chairs were flying. Someone in the corner was still trying to dance. Not far away, I saw Claire was in the mix. She had the big bald guy in a chokehold. She must have used magic, or been way stronger than I gave her credit for. She had him in a hold that looked both magical and deeply personal. Then the elf, still limping, tried to sneak up behind her. He didn't get far. Our own elf, Shayla, smacked him from the edge of the stage with her bass. There was a perfect musical twang as the bass connected, like Justice had a string section. It was chaos. The mercenary with the red cloak moved fast. He got to me before I could even get upright, and with a punch to the side of my face that felt like I'd been struck by a dragon's tail, he sent me to the ground. Then he kicked me in the gut. It was like getting kicked by a pissed-off mule. I felt myself get yanked up again. It was disorienting, thrown onto another table, this one still mostly intact. He slammed me down hard enough on my back that I was a bit winded and dazed. I stopped being stunned just in time to roll as his fist came down and through the table. I didn't know if that was strength or just bad tavern craftsmanship, but either way, not ideal. He got stuck for a second. My turn. I grabbed him by the tunic and headbutted him. Hard. I think I stunned him. I also think I stunned me. Not the cleanest plan I ever had. I had knocked him back hard enough to yank his arm free, but I rolled off the opposite side, dizzy, and found my footing. He came around after me behind the table, shaking his head clear. His nose was bleeding. He was almost upon me. He had a few inches on me in height and a lot of bulk. Mostly muscle, it seemed. I wasn't looking forward to a fair fight with him. Then he was speared from the left. A town guardsman in shiny silver armor dove into him, shoulder first. Took him down with practiced ease. It was the most beautiful form tackle I'd ever seen. Poetry in armor. "Ha!" I bellowed, pointing at the merc as the guardsman and one of his fellows hemmed him up. It was short-lived victory. Like cheering before realizing the firework exploded backwards. Then, I was struck. They called them beater sticks, 26-inch long, thick wooden batons used by town guards to smack around drunks instead of cutting them. The first hit caught me alongside the head. Everything rang. My thoughts went sideways. My memories rewound back to 3rd grade. I hit the floor. For good measure, the 2 guards who were taking me into custody gave me 3 more hits each. They were in a giving mood. It was like Christmas if Santa had rage issues and a baton. Then it hit me. I was being arrested. Of course, we all were. It was more than just our group and the mercenaries that had gotten involved. It seemed like they were arresting half the tavern. Honestly, I think a guy got arrested for clapping too aggressively. I was shackled and manacled in short order. My wrists were chained like I'd just looted the king's treasury and made a mixtape about it. They made me kneel on the ground next to the mercenary leader. On the other side of me, to my surprise, was the halfling that had pissed on my leg earlier in the restroom. Great. Leg pee guy. Because this night hadn't already hit rock bottom,
Impeter,
he said, looking up when he caught me glancing his way. What's that? I replied. My words were solid, but my lip definitely wasn't. My face felt like a loaf of bread someone had punched for not rising fast enough.
Me, I'm Impeter. Mr. Impeter.
He explained with a smile. He had a little blood in his mouth and a swollen face to match. Who hit you? I asked, genuinely confused why he was even involved.
Seth. Oh, he's the elf with the glory hounds.
He said, jerking his head toward the elf we'd fought. He was in a different pile of people also getting arrested. The Glory Hounds. That must be the name of the group we fought.
He had a hold of your priestess, so I bit his leg.
He added, with a smile. I guess that made us even for earlier in my book. I can let pissing on my legs slide if someone is going to save my sister.
Get those women out first. Dump them all in one cell.
One of the guards ordered. It was all of them. Angel, Molly, Claire, and even Shayla were being arrested. So was the black-haired barmaid, but I had no idea what she had done. Angel passed us first.
I'll carve out your spleen and eat it raw.
She snapped at the merc leader with a growl. He looked over at me, giving a curious, what the hell sort of look. I shrugged. I was just along for the ride. A very stupid, very loud, very manacled ride. Pretty sure that threat was redirected anger Angel felt toward Shayla, but I wasn't going to explain it to him. As the guards walked Molly past, she gave me a serious look and muttered,
Don't tell them anything.
Was I supposed to know something? Did she think I had secrets? I barely had working brain cells left. It seemed the bar fight had made her go full feral rogue. I remembered seeing her doing a wrestling throw upon the mercenary with curly, oily black hair, where she had landed on his shoulders, locked her thighs around his neck, and spun, throwing him.
Put these four in a cell together.
Me, the mercenary leader, Mr. Impeta, and that knight with the staff, the one dressed in fancy blue armor. Apparently the guards were assembling cells like party comps. One massive battle rager, one knight, one halfling menace, one bardic disappointment. At least I wasn't being thrown into a pile of mercenaries. The last thing I needed was to get my ass kicked all night. As they lined us up to take us out next, they put the tall knight directly behind me.
I have been watching you,
He said in a low, deep voice. Great. Now I was the protagonist of someone else's cryptic side quest. Or worse, another unrequited crush. I really did not want to be in the cell with him now. This was supposed to be my night. The crowd had loved us. Angel had been flirting. She literally wrote a love song about me. We already had rooms. We had the crowd. We had the song. I had charisma. The universe had other plans. Now I was going to be stuck for the rest of the night with the mercenary leader who wanted to kick my ass, the halfling who pissed on my leg, and an old knight who whispered ominous things into my ear like I was chosen by prophecy. I sighed as we were let out of the tavern. The music was gone, the crowd had vanished. Only the clink of chains and the distant sound of someone vomiting remained. An hour ago I was headlining a concert. Now I was headbutted, handcuffed, and headed for holding. This might be the worst night ever. And I once got chased by a goose during gym class. This still won out. We hope you enjoyed Girl Party Chapter 9 Brawl. Please check out the song that goes along with this chapter, Feedback Wave, on Manic Animation on YouTube. Check back soon for Chapter 10 Ambush. All chapters and music videos are available to watch free on our YouTube page. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.